Aloha. Today we've been tasked with telling you about the colonization of Hawaii, how a kingdom turned into a state. I've separated all my points into 6 sections, and these sections will be indicated in the top left corner. I hope you enjoy what we've written for you today. Hawaii was first founded and populated by wayfinders from Samoa, Tahiti, and the Marquesas Islands. In 1778, Captain James Cook was the first European to touch ground at the Hawaiian Islands when he arrived at Waimea Bay. James Cook would name the islands the Sandwich Isles after the Earl of Sandwich, some guy in Europe or something. But later on, Hawaii would just become known as Hawaii. Thank goodness. After years of battle and conflict, King Kamehameha united the islands and formed a government monarchy. The first missionaries to arrived in Hawaii in 1820. All of these missionaries would later have a crucial part in the overthrow of the Hawaiian government and the colonization of Hawaii. High off of freedom, the U.S. wanted to expand, and with their relationship with Hawaii already being fairly friendly with their sugar plantations and military bases and all, they seemed like an easy target. The Oxford Dictionary defines imperialism as
a policy of extending a country's power and influence through diplomacy or military force.
The Committee of Safety. This committee was established by Sanford B. Dole. These people believed that Hawaii should be a part of the United States. They believed that it was too vulnerable as a singular island nation. The Committee of Safety looked to overthrow the Hawaiian monarchy and establish a democratic government. With Hawaii as an independent United State, Dole had even sent in a treaty of annexation to the U.S. Senate, although it was rejected by mostly Democrats and anti-imperialist Republicans. It was even further rejected after it was learned that the indigenous population of Hawaii didn't want annexation. A group of American soldiers called the Honolulu Rifles had forced the Bayonet Constitution upon the King of Hawaii at the time, King Kalakua. The Bayonet Constitution was a constitution that undermined the power of the king and gave greater suffrage to the wealthier and more property-owning people of Hawaii, which in general weren't aboriginal to Hawaii. Queen Liliuokalani took over the throne, and it seemed like she would abrogate the Bayonet Constitution. So the Committee of Safety seized over power of Hawaii. All of this happened before the previously discussed Treaty of Annexation was proposed. And once it was, as I told you earlier, it was mostly rejected, especially by Grover Cleveland, the current president of the United States. But when William McKinley was elected, he approved of the annexation treaty, and it was officially annexed before it was turned into a state in 1959.
In 1959, Hawaii was officially deemed a state after a popular vote. Since then, the state has had an economic boom, likely due to increased numbers of visitors. Hawaii has become famous for being a popular tourist destination, with people coming from every corner of the globe to see the islands and what they have to offer. Unfortunately, due to increasing cost of living, many Hawaiians are forced to work multiple jobs to get by, not unlike many other areas of the USA. Not to mention that much of the land belonging to the native peoples was cleared for new buildings and other infrastructure. Unfortunately, things were not going to get better just yet because a recession occurred in the 1990s. However, by the end of the decade, it seemed things were looking up. The economy had recovered and many resorts and other tourist-centered locations had been constructed. Tourism continued to be a very dominant part of the economy into the next century, but the native population still demanded land rights, self-governance, and more autonomy with their internal affairs, and rightfully so. They were the original inhabitants. They should have proper rights in regards to their own land. Hopefully things improve for them in the future. As discussed before, the USA has done lots of harm to Hawaii and especially the island's native populations, but it has also contributed in some ways. One of the positive effects was boosting the economy, mainly with tourism, helping develop many resorts and other vacation destinations. Unfortunately, the global superpower's effects were mostly negative. However, how did Hawaii affect the United States? The various business people and naval strategists had long desired the islands for both opportunities of making money and being a strategic point for naval activities. With a vote of 209 to 91, the Senate voted for an annexation of Hawaii. An alliance of both Democrats and Republicans spoke out against this decision, but as we know, it still unfortunately occurred. However, one of these people, Thomas Brackett Reed, managed to prevent the annexation and from occurring for nearly a month. Once Hawaii became a territory, they eventually got a free trade agreement, which let buyers in the U.S. purchase Hawaiian sugar with little regulation. The large tourist economy of Hawaii brings more money into the government's hands via taxes.
The first thing you're going to get when you Google Hawaii is travel agencies and hotel prices. This is all due to the extreme over-tourism that's been happening ever since the COVID-19 pandemic, since people don't want to stay in their homes, I guess. With the populace of Hawaii practically begging people to stay in their homes, it's weird that nothing's happened. Not to mention all of the pollution left by the tourists, or any of Hawaii's homeless rates, or the effect that global warming is happening on Hawaii. Hawaii is struggling, much like every other place ever. But it has charities. Modern Hawaii has charities and programs that can help the islands. I'm sure all of you, as 15-year-old teenagers who live in Canada, care very much about a problem happening on the other side of the equator. If you do, I urge you to look into the Green Fee, as well as the Association of Hawaiian Civic Clubs. I truly thank you all for listening to what we have for you.